Prosecutors in that particular county have a conviction rate around 96%, and this is how they do it. They charge folks with a zillion things, indict everyone, even tangentially involved, get them to testify against each other in exchange for deals, and this is what they did here. Conrad Black, the big fish for the prosecutors, refused to cut a deal. He fought, and they got him on a couple of things. Congress made a very good point about these sky is falling warnings that we get about, if you don't raise the debt ceiling in the United States, everything's going to crash. August 2nd is the most recent date we've been given. Congressman's not buying it. I'm not buying it either. The sky's not going to fall if the debt ceiling isn't raised before August 2nd. Remember, we had other drop-dead dates we were given by the Obama administration before this one. Interest payments in the United States account for about 6% of the federal budget. Don't tell me they can't find 6% someplace and keep the full faith and credit of the U.S. government going. As is Obama's habit, and as we noted after the killing of bin Laden, last night's address was all I, me, myself, like Obama is applying the commando eye makeup and going in himself to finish the job. If you still trust in the seriousness of this president, consider that in the middle of this much anticipated war speech, Obama swerved to give us yet another lecture on the importance of clean sources of energy. Clean energy. What the hell? We are waiting for the word of the most powerful man in the world regarding a decade-long war in which thousands have died and on which hundreds of billions have been spent, and this guy can't turn it off long enough to give us the straight goods without another harangue about that enviro hippie crap? At the whim of an airport security officer, you or your entire party may be compelled to stand, legs spread, hands in the air, in a scanning device that will take a full, clear, naked photo of you, transmitted for viewing by another government agent. If you refuse to be scanned, or if there is some anomaly, or if they just feel like it, that government agent may also don some blue latex gloves and probe every single inch of your body. They may do this in public, or they may force you into a back room for this abuse. And if you try to leave, opting not to fly, they won't let you. Don't believe me? Watch today's broadcast. As I say, this police state nonsense starts in America, and I don't know if you will agree, but I think this grotesque and growing government mentality and people's response to it will determine that nation's success or failure in many ways. You may be asking, what changed? How did a bad economic picture, as we saw in 2008, become this looming disaster? Simply put, the Democrats who controlled Congress until recently and President Barack Obama took a lousy situation and made it worse. They added about $5 trillion to the debt, inherited huge budget deficits of around $400 billion, and quadrupled them. They burdened the nation with this obscene Obamacare health regime, which could devastate the country all on its own, while rejecting or ridiculing any real attempt to address what is happening to America. This is a real danger. It is foreseeable. And as Sun Media's own Dr. John Robson said on this program yesterday, Obama is just not taking it seriously. The media is cheerleading for Barack Obama because they want him to get reelected. And you hear this from Joe Biden, the vice president. You hear it all the time about, the economy's going to come back. Or, assuming their economy comes back, Barack Obama will get reelected, and they point to how bad things were under Ronald Reagan. But the difference, sir, is that Ronald Reagan had undertaken the stuff that grows a demand economy. He had cut taxes. He had cut red tape. He was squeezing inflation out of the system, and instead, we have a president who wants to raise taxes. You talked about a capital strike. Why would you invest in the markets when you know the president wants to jack up capital gains rates at the end of 2012? You're not going to be investing long-term on that basis. Why would you go into a situation and invest in a country where this is happening? The terrorism would be a less part of our life. Now, defenders of these sorts of provisions, sir, would say, well, that's because we have all these provisions and we've staved off terror attacks. Others, and it's a growing school of thought for which I have an increasing amount of respect, say, you know something? You know what the real threat is? It isn't actual terrorism. It's our response to terrorism, which creates and continues a police state. And people who point out the discrepancy between the treatment being given Libyan monster Muammar Gaddafi and the latitude we keep giving to Assad in Syria are quite correct. But as I said, we are not, or should not, be headed into another Mideast war. We can, however, be unequivocal in calling for Assad's ouster and judicious in whom we support to make that happen. Though I may be inviting a literal or figurative drone attack for saying so, why can Netanyahu not say so? Is it that the Israeli Prime Minister did his lecturing in the Oval Office itself, in front of reporters? Fair enough. But Obama opted to make his pronouncements on what Israel should do the day before Netanyahu arrived in Washington, D.C. It's not like Obama didn't know that. I'm a little frustrated, David, that people are giving Obama so much credit for saying, well, corruption and dictatorship in the Middle East is a problem. Okay, mail that to like 50 years ago when the rest of the world figured that out. He's coming out and saying this, and we're supposed to act as though it's a great thing. You yourself have pointed out this is, and you said just now, something that George W. Bush would say. Yeah. You might have written it for George W. Bush, and he would have been right. So would you. So now we're supposed to act like it's a big deal that Barack Obama has finally caught up with it.